Welcome back to the 71st episode of the BatChums podcast. I'm Drew Leiter, and joining me tonight is my co-host, the man, the myth, the new legend, Mike Gordon.
Howdy! You may refer to me as the one-tailed Michael of Mycorium.
Do I have to?
Oh, I insist upon it, sir.
So this
Nope,
is
I
Bat.
thought this was worthy of a fez.
I agree with you. So this is Batman season 2, episode 35, the Contaminated Cowl. Episode aired Wednesday, January 4th, 1967.
We're in 67. Woo! Batman 66 is over. Welcome, Batman 67.
So the episode was directed by Oscar Rudolph, which I know we've seen before,
Yes, we have.
and this was written by Charles Hoffman, who was one of the co-writers on the Catwoman Sandman episode we just recently
Yeah.
reviewed.
He was the one that inserted Catwoman, because he was one of the go-to guys. He wrote 22 episodes total of the series, which is second only to Stanley Ralph Ross. So Charles Hoffman actually wrote the two-parter in the first season, The 13th Hat and Batman Stands Pat, which introduced the Mad Hatter first season. So he's returning here to work on these two episodes as well. These are actually, guess what, Drew? These are actually based on a comic, a Batman
Whoa!
comic. Yeah, I know. Here we
We
go.
thought we thought that was over with,
We
and
did. We did. We really thought those days were behind us, but here we stand. Charles Hoffman, I guess, mined all the Detective Comics at his disposal, found one from 1956, which I think introduces the second version of the Mad Hatter. I don't know. I'll have to investigate it. I haven't, as we mentioned before, when stories are based on comics, I wait till after I've watched both parts to read the comics that they're inspired by or based on. So I won't know it fully until next week, as far as the impact and what the story is. But my understanding is that Detective Comics number 230, written by Bill Finger, which came out in 1956, does feature the Mad Hatter, and he is obsessed with wanting Batman's cowl and even goes so far as to contaminate it. To in order to get his hands on it. So that's all I really know about it. So I've seen the cover, and it's got the Mad Hatter and Batman on the cover, et cetera, et cetera. Now that's the story. As far as the story inspired by. Now, visually, as we're going to talk about later on, there's a striking visual image that happens in this first part, and that a lot of people remember, because it takes on a life of its own. And that I have to think was inspired by Detective Comics 241, which just came out a year later in 1957, and that was written by Edward Hamilton. But that one involves the Rainbow Batman, in which Dick Grayson is in danger. So Batman draws attention to himself, to take attention away from Dick Grayson. So Batman draws attention to himself by wearing different colored outfits. And one of the outfits that he wears on the cover, it's listed as red, but it looks really like, because the colorist at the time, it looks really pink. So it looks like Batman is wearing this pink, and it's not just a cowl, it's a pink cape and cowl and whole outfit, right? So here we've got a pink Batman, and later on we will see that visual kind of play out on the show. So I think really Charles Hoffman and the crew are using two different sort of inspirations here from the comics in order to service this story for the Return of the Mad Hatter. Which I should also say that David Wayne is back as the Mad Hatter. He did not want to do this. Apparently, he was forced to do it, I'm not sure if it was a studio thing or what, but he really felt that the show was beneath him at this point, and just wasn't interested. But I'm happy to say, and I don't know, Drew, as we go forward, we'll see. I don't think that plays out. I think he's great in this. So the fact that he didn't want to do it, I don't think shows up in the actual episode. He doesn't just phone it in, I don't think.
I agree with you. I don't think he phoned it in either.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't tell by watching this episode that, he didn't want to play the part. So,
Yeah. I think later on he kind of admitted that he was surprised that Batman got as much his role in Batman got as much attention as it did because people would come up to him on the street or, ask for autographs and about the Mad Hatter and stuff like that. And he was always surprised because he has an illustrious film career, as we talked about, first season when he first was introduced. But yeah, he was kind of surprised that people remembered him. And I think he, thinks back on it a little bit better later on. But while he was making it, he just thought it was just ridiculous. Which, of course, it is ridiculous, but that's the
yeah.
beauty of it, right?
Yep, exactly. So Mad Hatter comes strolling into Bon Bon's box boutique. He wants 700 empty hat boxes. When asked if he was paying cash or card, the Mad Hatter replies, neither, as he doesn't intend to pay for them. Suddenly, the top of Mad Hatter's hat pops open, zapping Bon Bon in the eyes. She falls to the floor unconscious.
Poor
And I
Bon
got to
Bon.
tell you,
Did you remember
Mike,
Bon Bon?
yes, I recognized her right away because she's in the Ghost and Mr. Chicken.
She is. She is. Bond. I made that note. I was like, normally like I write these actors down and you just have this look on your face like, okay. Uh, but I was like, if he doesn't recognize Bon Bon, there's something crazy here because Bon Bon was in like Jessalyn Fox is in one of his favorite movies of all time, and it's the same. It came out the same year. One of these days, we might have to do a special episode on the Ghost of Mr. Chicken because it does seem like there's a lot of crossover here. But Jessalyn Fox was also, she was an accomplished actress. She worked, I mean, she was alive from 1893, Drew, to
Jeez.
1975. I mean, she was around for a long time, did a lot of work. But most notably, I think, besides getting knocked out here, most notably, I think people remember her, or yeah, I certainly remember her. She's in one of my favorite movies as well, which is Rear Window, directed by Alfred Hitchcock, 1954. She plays Miss Hearing Aid across the way, and yeah, so she's a great actress, and here she is. She only has this bit part, but she makes the most of it.
Meanwhile, behind the boxwood hedges and boxing shutters of stately Wayne Manor, Bruce Wayne presents a check on behalf of the Wayne Foundation to Professor Overbeck for his work at the Gotham City Atomic Energies Laboratory.
Professor Overback is played by Leonid Kinski, who was around from 1903 to 1998, so he was around for a long time too. Had a great career in movies starting in the 30s. Has an appearance in the Marx Brothers movie Duck Soup, 1933, in the movie Ball of Fire, the Barbara Stanwyck classic, 1941. Most notably, I think, and for me, definitely recognizable, even though he's a little older here. He's in another one of my favorite movies of all time. He plays Sasha the bartender in Casablanca, 1942. So great role there, really stand out. And he did a lot of TV in the 60s as well. He's in an episode of Honey West, 1965. He was in both The Man from Uncle and The Girl from Uncle, 1966 or so. So yeah, he did a lot of work. But yeah, but most I recognized him right away, even though, like I said, he looks a lot older. I'm like, hey, that's Sasha from Casablanca. So
When Alfred whispers to Bruce about the bat bone, Bruce Wayne excuses himself, stating he has other Wayne Foundation business to attend to. Professor Overbeck turns his attention to Mrs. Cooper, thanking her for lunch and praising her strudel.
yeah, that's a weird double entendre there. I think it felt like a double entendre, didn't
Yes, it did.
it?
In Bruce's study, Batman learns from Commissioner Gordon that during last week's prison softball game, Mad Hatter stole home and kept right on going, taking Warden Crichton's cap along with him. The warden was acting as umpire. To the bat poles.
Yeah. Gordon questions once again questions Crichton's rehabilitation techniques. At which point, Batman, at least Adam West, anyway, the way he's playing it, he just looks so kind of like annoyed, like, yeah, they got away. We'll clean up your mess. We'll be right there, Commissioner. He kind of has a little bit of an attitude when he's going down that pole, I think. He looks like he's kind of over it. Like, you know, where Crichton is trying to rehabilitate these guys and they keep getting out.
Yep. Now, I want to talk about, since we're going to the Bat Poles and heading to Gotham headquarters,
Yeah?
the new footage with the front of the Batmobile and passing some of the cars, that
Uh-huh.
was awesome.
Yeah, it did seem fresh. But I don't know that it was new or if it was in the movie or I to be honest with you, I don't know where it came from. I find it hard to believe that they took the Batmobile out for a spin, but it did look like it was going more than 30 some miles an hour, which is reportedly as fast as that model could go. So that was pretty cool. Although it doesn't look like it's Adam West and Burt Ward in that
No, it's
car.
the stunt doubles for
It's the
sure.
stunt guys, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely the stunt doubles. And it may not be new footage. It may be footage they shot at some point and decide to use it in this. I don't remember seeing it before.
It seemed fresh. It made that because that sequence, we've seen it every episode where it's like batteries to power, turbines to speed, blah blah blah, and it's
Yeah.
great. It's as a fan, I'm just like woohoo, I love it. But it does get kind of like repetitive after a while. So anything new that they can put in there is like whoa, okay, nice, yeah, I get it.
At police headquarters, Commissioner Gordon wonders if Warden Crichton's rehabilitation methods are getting out of hand.
Yeah,
Then adds that the Mad Hatter would stop at nothing to add Batman's cowl to his hat collection. Robin states this monster must be stopped at once. The dynamic duo decide to return to the Batcave to figure out the Mad Hatter's whereabouts. I thought this was funny because they go all the way to police headquarters, you know, don't really learn anything new while they're there, and
no,
then go all the way back to the Batcave.
yep, yeah, and that's
They
the
could
why
have.
hence why Batman looks like a little annoyed. Like, okay, I guess we'll just go to the Bat computer and let since you guys are not any help at all. So, although I think we do get another sequence where Gordon is praising them, and much to O'Hara's like kind of just like, okay, yeah, right, okay, okay,
After Bat After Batman and Robin leave, Commissioner Gordon turns to Chief O'Hara and
there we go.
states that looking back, it is hard to remember how they operated at all before those two masked Samaritans appeared on the scene. Chief O'Hara replies that it is not hard for him to remember. Things were a mess. I don't know if that was a dig at Commissioner Gordon or or
I
his police
think
force in general.
I just think it was accurate. Like no lies detected, as they say, right? And I got to give O'Hara his props. Last week he had that great line with Catwoman about the back alley or whatever, and now he's like giving a little shot to Commissioner Gordon here. Like he's getting them in. He's getting these like one shots in, and I like this O'Hara where he's kind of more witty than just because usually we see him and he's just kind of dumb or whatever. But I like the fact that he kind of has kind of a little bite to him. So I do like that. I hear.
At the Mad Hatter's hideout in the defunct Green Derby restaurant, Mad Hatter and Polly are packing away all his heisted headgear as he reminisces about stealing them.
Yeah,
Mad Hatter,
because he stole 700 hat boxes. That's what he stole. He had no intention of paying for them to Bon Bon. And I did think that scene was funny too when Bon Bon was like 700 and he's like, "Well, there's three of us." like I'm like, okay, that's still a lot. That's more than 100 for you each one to carry. Like that's just crazy. But in any case, uh, but it's a fun scene. And Polly is played by Jean Hale, who was around from 1938 to 2021. She did episodes of the Alfred Hitchcock Hour. She did episodes of McHale's Navy. She's even in the movie. McHale's Navy joins the Air Force. She's in episodes of Hogan's Heroes and Tarzan and In Like Flint. And then she's also in Roger Corman's St. Valentine's Day Massacre. She was married to Dabney Coleman for a while. They had three children. That marriage didn't unfortunately last. Then she took a little bit of a break, I think, to concentrate on family things. But then she shows up later in later movies as well. Like I said, she just passed away in 2021, so she was around for a long time.
Mad Hatter.
And then we also meet we kind of meet the two henchmen, right? We meet Benny and Skimmer. They're over there on the water tower. Skimmer is played by Vic Ames, 1925 to 1978. He doesn't have a lot of credits. He's in a few things, but nothing of really of note other than this, I think. Benny, on the other hand, was played by Leonard Bremen, around from 1915 to 1986. He's actually one of his earliest credits is in a movie called M, which is a remake of a German movie that Fritz Lang did. But I think it's notable. It was made in 1951, and it features David Wayne in the lead role. So this
Hmm.
is not the first time that Leonard Bremen is working with David Wayne. So they're familiar with each other. Leonard also was in a couple episodes of Twilight Zone and three episodes of The Addams Family, playing different characters. He's also in an episode of Honey West. Also did some episodes of Bewitched and Get Smart. So he shows up quite a bit. It worked a lot as well. So these are solid character actors that are just are great to see.
Mad Hatter states his goal is to get Batman's cowl. He's going to change his tactics and use hats to steal. Mad Hatter tells Polly she is going to be working at a headdress ball tonight in charge of the hat check stand. He reveals a gun full of radioactive spray. There is going to be a priceless ruby there.
Yeah,
Mad Hatter.
she has a funny line where as he's packing away the hats, she looks really sad and she's like, I can't believe you're packing away all these hats. Like, what are you gonna? Why are you getting rid of all these hats? And he's like, well, I'm moving on. And she's like, I'm a hat check girl. What would I do without hats to check? And he's like, don't worry. Yeah, she fits right in the plan because that's exactly what she's going to be doing is hat checking.
Mad Hatter looks out the window at a water tower in which his henchmen, Benny and Skimmer, are currently descending the water tower. They are preparing a watery grave for the Cape Crusaders, which we get disappointed about later.
Well, we're not sure. I mean, it could plan out in the second part. We don't know, but yeah, we don't know what he's got planned. The plans are kind of loose here, but I do like the focus. Like the when Mad Hatter was in the first season, his first two-parter, he wanted revenge on Batman and the jury for convicting him. And that was a straight out like revenge oriented plan. In this episode, he is focused on getting the cowl. And some of his machinations about getting the cowl and what he's doing to get it are really confusing and bonkers and don't make any sense whatsoever. But yet, that does seem to be his end goal. So, all this other stuff about stealing the hat boxes uh, going after the ruby and all this kind of stuff just seem like they're uh, just end means to an end, which is getting the cowl. But I must say the episode is kind of clunky where it doesn't really focus on that a lot, so it looks like it's meandering. But at least I do like the fact that he's got this goal of straight out. He doesn't want to kill Batman. I mean, he does, but he wants the cowl, and so I kind of like that fixation that he has. So
Back at the Batcave, Robin wonders how they are going to find Mad Hatter's hideout by getting a bunch of cards with types of hats on them from the Bat computer. Batman agrees, stating that no doubt even the mechanical Marvel feels the stress and strain of crime fighting and has chosen this very moment to let down. Batman decides to activate the accelerated concentration switch.
yeah, that okay, okay, bat logic. Yeah, we need to make sure that the computer focuses. We've got a special switch for that. That's strange, but okay.
Yeah, it is just strange. Somebody doesn't understand computers, apparently.
Well, this was the 60s. Nobody understood computers then.
Holy handiwork! Batman should have made the connection himself. Gotham City annual charity headdress ball is being held tonight at Gotham Tower West in the top hat room. Hattie Hatfield, the owner of the famous Hatfield Ruby, will be the head of the event. Now, I do. Have we ever come across Hattie Hatfield before? Because the name sounded familiar to me.
Did sound familiar. I haven't, not in my recollection, but yeah, it just sounds like I mean, the Hatfields and the McCoy are obviously a thing that, people remember, but I don't think there's any tie-ins to that here. Not that I could find. We would need Shame for that, I think, or somebody like that of nature. But yeah, I don't. It's just obviously a play on the hat thing, so the hat theme. So yeah, and it is kind of lazy. I mean, we talked about it earlier this season about how the Bat computer was solving things for them, and they seem to be breaking away from that in a way. But it seems like the last few episodes they're dialing back into it. They're leaning back into that. So that's kind of weak, I think. But it is what it is.
That night in the hat room, the hotel manager receives a call informing him that the three-tailed Pasha of Panchagorium will be, did I pronounce that right?
That's fine. That's fine.
Will be attending. The hotel manager informs Polly, who is working the hat check, as well as Hattie Hatfield, who is excited to receive the news.
Yeah,
While
Hattie
the
Hatfield is played by Barbara Morrison, who was around from 1907 to 1992. She was in such movies as, talk about this weird dichotomy of the life of an actress, right? She in the 1953, she's in two notable movies. She's in From Here to Eternity. You've heard of that movie, right? That's a
Yes,
that's an Academy Award winner, right? That's a classic movie, From Here to Eternity. She's also in Project Moonbase, which is a B-level movie at best, and just kind of schlocky. But that's the life of an actor. She also was in episode of Twilight Zone, 1962. She had an appearance in My Fair Lady, the movie, 1964. She also is in an episode of Honey West, 1965. Different episode, I think, than our guy Leonard Bremen was in. But she's in an episode of Hogan's Heroes, 1967, where she plays Mrs. Schultz. She's in four episodes of Bewitched. She plays four different characters. She has an appearance in Bedknobs and Broomsticks, the movie. She made an appearance in Kolchak the Night Stalker, 1974. And her final credit of her career, 1977, she's in an episode of Little House on the Prairie.
of course. While the Pasha ascends by elevator, the Cape Crusaders use the bat rope to climb the side of the building. No celebrity guest this week.
No, it's all glass. I mean, I do like the fact that they make a point to prepare. When they find out where the party's being held, Batman's like, that building is all glass, so we better make sure that our bat ropes are strong and secure and polished and everything like that. And Robin's like, we just did that. And he's like, yeah, but you can't be too careful because we are dealing with an all glass building. And so and they kind of show that. I mean, it was a different looking building than we've seen them pop out of. So, although I wouldn't have been surprised if there was a cameo, um, obviously the with the different set and everything, it looked different. So, yeah, I was and they're just chatting away while they're up there. So they're not. Yeah, it is kind of funny. We expect a cameo like every episode because that's our memory, thinking that there were so many of them that they must have appeared. They must have cameos in every episode. When the truth is that they're not in every episode. They're only like in every other, not even in every other episode.
No, because I don't think we had one in the Catwoman Sandman two-parter.
No, no. I mean, we've had appearances by, notable folks, but not actually like window cameos.
Yeah. Batman and Robin slip into the party, noticing the Mad Hatter right away. Batman runs into a tray, and one of Mad Hatter's henchmen takes notice, alerting the other henchmen, who are all disguised as servers. Batman and Robin hide behind the buffet table. The Mad Hatter slyly steals the ruby from Hattie Hatfield's headdress. But Batman and Robin appear, calling him out. The Pasha is an imposter. The Mad Hatter's henchmen attack Batman and Robin, and a fight ensues.
I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is the first time that they've had a fight with henchmen in front of people. Usually they're in the hideout or some such warehouse or something like that. Um, I don't know if that we've seen them fight like the crew in front of a crowd before.
Well, we had that episode where they were fighting henchmen on TV.
Yeah, but that wasn't, was that in front of a crowd too?
I can't
I think that
remember
was
if
at a bank
there's
or something, right? So there might have been people there, but there were people like all around this party. Like I don't, and it was a lot like it was a lot closer. Like that room was much smaller than the one that they were in before. But yeah, I just thought it was notable. We don't usually see that.
no, not usually. After lots of pies in the face, salads being tossed, and many broken tables, Batman and Robin have defeated Mad Hatter's men. Batman goes after Mad Hatter, but the Hatter tosses his hat. Holy fireworks! Mad Hatter pulls a gun and shoots the radioactive spray in Batman's face. His cowl turns pink.
In
You're
case you're
muted.
one, yeah, sorry. In case you're wondering, my Fez does not. There's no traps. There's no weapons here. So
We're not going to see fireworks shoot from him.
no
I'm
fireworks.
disappointed.
We don't have that kind of budget, Drew.
The Mad Hatter escapes. Batman and Robin must return to the Batcave as quickly as possible before it's too late. Back at the Batcave, Alfred informs Batman that all his extra cows are in the home drying cleaning plant. It's turned up to full maximum, but it won't be ready for several hours. Holy self-service!
Okay, Drew. I I have to ask, why is he still in that cowl? Like, why is he still wearing it? Like, he's in the Batcave. We've seen him several times where he's not dressed up like Batman in the Batcave. Like, he can take the cowl off in the Batcave. I don't understand why he's like not just cowl. I don't understand why he's wearing the cowl. I mean, visually it's fun looking, but it makes no sense to me why he's just standing there in the in that pink cowl.
It doesn't. It doesn't. Batman has taken an anti-radioactive bat pill that should protect him against the radiation for a while longer.
I think that's established. I can't remember. I'd have to go. I tried to search, but man, it's tough. I think he's used those before, right? Like he's had radiation pills before that he's taken, I think, for
I think
something or the
so.
other. Yeah,
I
I think
think
so.
so. I thought I remembered them taking those pills before too.
Yeah. So,
Bruce Wayne makes a phone call to Professor Overbeck. Later, at the Gotham City Atomic Energy Laboratory, Batman seeks out the help of Professor Overbeck. On
yeah,
your toes, Robin. The night has eyes and ears. Batman noticed that Mad Hatter followed them here part of the way. Professor Over Professor Overbeck's assistant Otto brings in a contamination suit for Batman to change into behind a privacy curtain. Batman removes his cowl, and the professor uses a device to grab it and gives it to Otto.
yeah. He can remove the cowl. Like it's established that he can remove the cowl. So I don't know why he doesn't do that earlier. Like it just doesn't make any sense to me why he's still wearing it. So that's strange. And it's also not, yeah, not to mention it's strange that it only affects his cowl. Like his cape doesn't turn pink. Robin, tries to, block it. Like when he gets hit, Robin tries to block it with his yellow cape, and that stays the same color. So it is kind of a weird thing, but visually it looks fun. So, I mean, it does look visually like really crazy. Like Batman just standing there with his pink head.
Yes. Ro- Robin realizes that Otto is actually Mad Hatter and tries to stop him, but Mad Hatter kicks Robin in the shin and escapes.
Yeah, I think Batman already knows. Because as soon as I think Otto comes in, Batman kind of looks at Robin like, Yeah, like remember, keep your eyes, eyes open or whatever. And Robin's just like clueless. And then he gets kicked in the shin, and I'm like, really? That's all it took?
Batman appears from behind the privacy curtain with a replacement cowl. Sorry, I lost it there. I thought that was ridiculous. He had the pink cowl on and he already had a replacement for it, even though they told us they didn't have a replacement for
Yeah, I don't know if
it.
we're gonna get an explanation for this or not, but
I'm
yeah, I
I'm
don't know. I'm
guessing
like,
not.
what? Because Robin's surprised. Robin's like, what? I didn't know. And he's like, I'll explain later or something like that or whatever. And it's just like, are you going to explain? Because sometimes the show does and sometimes it doesn't.
Batman and Robin chase after the Mad Hatter, but get captured by Mad Hatter's henchmen and placed in the fluoroscopic cabinet that's a high voltage X-ray. Mad Hatter turns on the device. Professor Overbeck states that Batman and Robin will be radiated in a matter of minutes. Mad Hatter zaps the professor with his top hat and he falls unconscious. Is this to be believed in our scientific age? First, Batman's cowl radio activated. Now the Cape Crusaders fluoroscoped forever. Keep framed to their framework. Tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel.
It's a cool, unlike like the last one with the mattress. This is visually a pretty cool trap that they're in. It's kind of loose, it's I think they understand radioactivity about as well as they understand computers, Drew. Because Professor Overback is like, oh, he goes to grab the cowl or whatever, and he's like, oh no, and he has a special utensil that he uses a tool to grab the cowl and put it in away. But then the Mad Hatter's just walking around with it, like he's like, hey, this I've got the cowl, and I'm like, I know he's wearing gloves, but still, it's radioactive, dude. Like, that you should put that in a like a hat box that like a lead hat box or something. Anyway, they play loose with the radioactivity here. And again, it's sort of like, what is going on? Why doesn't he take off the cowl? Then all of a sudden he's got a replacement cowl and all this crazy stuff. But what saves it is, I think, as bonkers as it is, and as kind of clunky as some of the storytelling is here, what saves it is David Wayne, I think, is great. I think he's like I said, I'm surprised that he didn't like doing this because you can't tell. Talk about being a pro. Even if he doesn't like doing it, he's still gonna give it his all. And he's just great when he's threatening Batman about uh uh or threatening Robin as well, when he's when Robin's after Batman gets hit with the spray and he's like blinded and Robin's like, you diabolical devil, and Mad Hatter's like, not one step forward or you'll get it too. Like he's really threatening. And he's just great. He's just chewing scenery, which is that's what you're supposed to do in this role. We've talked about it before. Some actors can do it, some actors can't. They don't get the memo, and David Wayne gets the memo. And add to that, you've got this wonderful visual of this pink cowl on Batman's head, and it's one of those things that has taken off a life of its own. There's memes out there with Batman with a pink cowl. There's action figures. They've got variant figures where you can get Batman with a pink cowl. So for something that's just sort of like a, one-time joke in an episode or whatever, um, it's kind of made an impact. And I think you actually said earlier on when we were talking about the Mad Hatter that you remembered this because of the pink cowl, right?
Yep, I
Yeah,
sure did.
it's
And when
got
we
it's
when
got
we
that
re
memory.
when we reviewed the um,
Mad
first
Hatter?
episodes with Mad Hatter, I was expecting the pink cowl, and during sometime during that, and it didn't happen.
Right. Because you
So
didn't know he's
this
coming
is,
back, right?
has he
Yeah.
come back for a
Yeah,
third time?
yeah, because you didn't know he was coming back, right? You thought maybe this is his one-time thing
Oh
or
yeah, I didn't think he was coming back. So
yeah, because a lot of people. Yeah, in fact, a lot of people don't remember the first time he made an appearance because this one is so memorable because of the pink cowl. And it's silly, It's very silly, but it's fun. And this show is still, they say like the quality's dropping or the quality drops in the second season, and Lord knows we've had some episodes that, were kind of tough for even for us to get through, but it's still fun. And it's still really fun. And this two-parter I felt like was really fun.
I agree.
Well, at least the first part. We haven't seen the second part yet.
Yeah, that's
So,
true.
so yeah, we'll wait and see what happens with the second part. I might have a completely different mindset after the second part. I might be like, well, that was crappy, but yeah, there's still some stuff here that I really appreciated, and yeah, um, so yeah, we'll wait and see how they get out of this trap of being fluoroscope forever.
All right. Well, that wraps up another episode. Did you have a shout out, Mike?
My shout out this week is I got an opportunity to be on another show on the ESO network, Drew. Because Dragon Con, our big convention, is coming up. Very excited. We just recorded our episode of the Dragon Con Report, but I actually got invited to be on an episode of Earth Station Boo, which I had never been on before. I love the people that do that, what they do, and looking at classic horror and modern horror too. They look at all kinds of horror. So Earth Station Boo is a great podcast that everybody should check out. And they did a special episode talking all about stuff that's coming up in Dragon Con, and they invited me to be on, and I love talking to them about Dragon Con. I'm only on for a few minutes just to promote the stuff that we've got going on and to talk a little bit about tips and how to handle Dragon Con. Not that any of us really can do that because it's so massive and cool, but yeah. So I appreciate the people in Earth Station Boo for having me on, and check out their podcast.
Awesome. All right. And for my shout out, I'm going to shout out about Detective Comics number 241, which Mike mentioned earlier in the episode. And the reason why I was shouting this comic out, see, I didn't know Mike was going to mention it earlier, but the reason why I remembered this comic was because it had a picture of Batman in pink on the cover. Now, um, the pink cowl in the episode made me think of this comic book cover. And I couldn't until I brought it up because I hadn't seen it for a little bit. I just remember different Batman costumes being on there. And I can't, I don't know if I've actually read the issue, Mike, but I've seen the cover multiple times. So
Yeah, it's one of those covers that comes up because, a lot of times you'll see articles about the silly Batman stuff that came out in the 50s or whatever, and that's usually one of the things that comes up. And the different outfits of Batman and all that kind of stuff. And the Rainbow Batman is very silly and ridiculous. And yeah, there was certainly some silly issues there. So and yeah, visually it has that pink look to it, even though it's his whole outfit, not just his cowl in the on the cover, if I'm not mistaken. Um, I find it hard to believe that it wasn't inspired, that it didn't help inspire the visuals of this episode too. So I'm not surprised you were thinking about it because I thought the same thing. See? Thinking alike, Drew. Great minds,
yep.
man. Great minds. Either that or we've been hanging out way too much together.
Yep. That could very well be. All right. If you'd like to comment on anything we've talked about tonight, you can reach us at our feedback line 317-455-8411. Text us, leave us a message, or you can email us at batchumspodcast@gmail.com. All right. You ready to get out of here, Batchum?
BatChums ready to move out.
Atomic batteries to power, turbines to speed. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Wouldn't that be same hat time? Same hat channel? I think you missed an opportunity there, Drew.
We can always edit and post. Same hat time, same hat channel.
Don't worry. Hold on to your hats. The worst is yet to come.